This is the EPIC program with the Jefferson Center for Mental Health. We work with 15 to 25-year-olds that are going through their first episode of psychosis. This program receives grant funding from SAMHSA to provide a no-cost service to the client anywhere in the community, as often or as infrequent as the client would like. Jefferson Center for Mental Health serves Jefferson, Gilpin, and Clear Creek counties. We help people of all ages and from all walks of life through mental health and substance use treatment, care coordination, prevention, and wellness programs. To put it simply, psychosis is a disturbance in normal thought that interrupts daily functioning. This can include hallucinations, which are seeing, hearing, smelling, or feeling things that others don't perceive as real. Delusions, such as a fixed belief in spite of evidence to the contrary. Disorganized thinking, appearing to be emotionally flat or disengaged, and a lack of hygiene, like not showering, brushing one's teeth, or changing clothes. Some of the symptoms can be confused with depression. Here's a list of some of the signs to look for. Isolation, withdrawing from friends or family, frequently misinterpreting social interactions, a lack of interest in previously enjoyed activities, behaving differently, such as doing poorly when they once did well in school, or exhibiting behaviors that don't seem to fit with the situation, like laughing when talking about something sad or upsetting, or laughing for no apparent reason. Unusual thoughts, or thoughts that don't make sense. For example, believing that you are being watched or followed, that someone else is controlling your thoughts, that others want to harm you, or that things in the environment have special meaning just for you. Decreased cognitive status, changes in decision-making, memory, or their ability to focus. More signs to look for. Thoughts that are jumbled together. Thoughts that are racing too fast or coming too slow. Perception of things that are not there. These will affect the five senses and oftentimes include the experience of unusual sensations in one's body. Decline in self-care, such as poor hygiene, lack of sleep, or sleeping too much. Exhibiting signs of depression or anxiety. These symptoms are with people that experience psychotic symptoms. However, these symptoms alone are not an indicator of someone experiencing psychosis. Very often, multiple signs need to happen together in order to let us know there is something to be concerned about. Often, these can appear in phases as we see them come and go. Quite often, we tend to see a drastic change in the behavior of the person that indicates that psychosis may have been developed. Here are two examples of what might begin a conversation. The person may not use these exact words, therefore recognizing that a person needs help requires a combination of knowing the signs and having a conversation. There are a number of helpful ways to respond to someone who is exhibiting signs of psychosis. Offer encouragement. Reassure the person that they are not alone and offer support. Get support early on. This will help keep their life on track. Ask professionals for help, such as your local mental health center, your family doctor, or a school counselor. And seek support from other trusted individuals, such as a family member, a close friend, a teacher, or a faith leader. Stigma is often based on myths like what we are about to see, while the facts tell a very different story. For example, myth number 1, mental illness is a sign of weakness or failure. Fact, psychosis can affect anyone, regardless of culture, race, economic status, sex, or ethnicity. In fact, 1 in 5 people lives with a mental health condition. Myth number 2, people with a mental health diagnosis are dangerous or violent. Fact, to the contrary, those diagnosed with a mental illness are more likely to be a victim of violent crime than they are to commit one. Myth number 3, early psychosis and schizophrenia are not treatable and you can do nothing for your loved one. Fact, the fact is psychosis can be manageable and treatable and medication is not always required. And finally, myth number 4, psychosis is a cliff and once you've fallen off, there's no coming back. Fact, individuals can and many do return to normal functioning, living and reaching their peak in life. As former President Bill Clinton said, mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all. If you know someone who is showing indications of psychosis and you are worried about them, it is important that you take action and tell someone. There are 4 steps you can take to help someone who is experiencing psychosis. Step 1. Start the conversation. You can do this by expressing your concern. Step 2. Offer support. You can do this by being hopeful, patient, and understanding. Step 3. Be a friend. You can encourage the person and educate yourself about mental health. Step 4. Get advice. You don't have to go it alone. You can seek help from your local mental health center. It's important to be supportive, but for many people, it is easy to get burned out. As a caregiver, you may experience feelings of guilt, shame, being scared, or overwhelmed. Don't hesitate to seek advice and start the conversation. The good news is, when the treatment is sought early on, recovery is not only possible, but is a reality for most. The EPIC program was designed with an emphasis on the first episode of psychosis and the goal of restoring individuals to full functioning through early and effective interventions. We work to minimize the stigmatizing nature of having a mental health challenge and foster recovery and resiliency in those we serve. We understand the recovery process is different for everyone and that it can be a beautiful experience. We help individuals in the recovery process live independently and form meaningful relationships in their community. With an increase in goal-directed activities, which is often associated with a decrease in symptoms, it is possible for individuals to feel like themselves again. Each person experiences the recovery phase differently. The path taken to get to this phase can vary considerably from one individual to another. The EPIC program takes a client-centered approach to treatment. The program team consists of 6 members: a primary clinician who provides individual and group therapy, including life skills building, substance use treatment, coping skills, and symptom management; a case manager who assists with navigating systems and problem solving, makes referrals, provides resources and education to individuals and/or their family members, and coordinates services; a peer specialist who provides strength-based care, engenders hope, engages individuals in the community by providing pro-social activities, and models appropriate social skills; a supported employment and education specialist who explores inherent strengths and incorporates them to help individuals create a meaningful and purposeful life; also helps prepare individuals for employment opportunities, getting back into school, or obtaining a GED; a nurse who provides healthcare education and guidance, not only for those in the program, but for their family members as well; a psychiatrist who offers medication management and education using the lowest dose and least amount of medication possible to avoid side effects and to restore functioning to the fullest. Using shared decision-making and working together, individuals can return to school, obtain and maintain employment, all while having access to therapeutic and supportive services. The eligibility criteria are very specific, and it is important for those to be considered when making a referral to the EPIC program. We work with 15 to 25-year-olds that live in Jefferson, Gilpin, or Clear Creek County, and that have been experiencing psychosis for less than 2 years. First episode of psychosis, or FEP, is a specific title to a type of psychosis that does not stem from drugs, mood-related disorders such as depression or bipolar, or any general medical condition. If you or someone you know has been experiencing symptoms described in this presentation, that does not necessarily mean that eligibility criteria for EPIC has been met. The EPIC team will conduct a thorough assessment through evaluations of the potential client, their support system, and any possible mental health records to determine eligibility for the service or to be able to provide referrals for treatment interventions that are more appropriate and suitable. Anyone can contact the EPIC team by email or by phone to set up the assessment with the client and their support network. Even if you're not sure whether they meet criteria, it is important to reach out and start the discussion as early as possible. One of the factors that leads to success is early support and treatment. So don't wait. Use the email and phone number on this slide to contact a team member. These next few slides provide information about several different resources that help support people suffering from psychosis, as well as their support systems. Jefferson Center provides quality mental health services for persons with emotional problems and/or serious mental illness. Colorado Crisis Services provides a 24/7, 365 crisis support line, as well as 24-hour walk-in services for anyone in crisis. NAMI Jeffco offers free education programs to support individuals and their families affected by mental illness, including Family to Family, a support group that focuses on communication and problem-solving skills, and NAMI Basics, a group that provides facts about mental health conditions and how to best support your child through the process of recovery. OK to Talk is an online community that helps the conversation about mental illness become more accessible in a safe, moderated environment. Bring Change to Mind works to end the stigma and discrimination associated with mental illness. Super Better is a game tool that empowers people to take control of their own symptoms. If you or someone you know is experiencing some of the symptoms that we talked about in this presentation, remember there are lots of resources available to you, including the EPIC team at the Jefferson Center for Mental Health.